So welcome everybody to this next step of the grand adventure of ATLE convergence. And so last year, part of our feedback from our sponsors and from some participants was that it just, people really enjoyed it. It was a great conference. We learned lots from the sessions, but we felt that there wasn't enough opportunity for people to have that kind of sort of experience where you're in the exhibit hall, you're rubbing shoulders with other people, you have other networking opportunities. There's that kind of synergy that happens when people are all together. That's not the same when you're sitting, looking like the Brady Bunch. And so, so we thought that this year we would explore to see if there's some other kind of platform we could tap into to help provide some of that experience with people. And so we looked at a few. And the one we settled upon for this year is Kumospace. And so what we would like to do today is, first of all, we'll turn it over to Linda, who will be giving us a tour of the platform itself. And then this is a website that is growing every day as we get more information from people and get our sessions up in there as well. And so she'll give us a tour of the platform, and then we'll turn it over to Angela, who has been doing an incredible job getting the Kumospace platform ready for us all to dip into and use and customize to whatever extent each of us feels comfortable to doing. So welcome everybody, and Linda, I will turn it over to you.
Okay. Thank you. Janet, can you give me the ability for screen sharing, please? Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. So I'm just going to, all right, hopefully everyone can see my screen. So I'm going to start with our homepage. As you well know, ATLE's webpage is the host of many things and lots of information. So as our attendees come into our convergence conference area, this is our landing page. So there's a couple things in here from a sponsor's perspective that you probably would be interested in. This is where you're able to look at your booth, the forms that you have filled out, and also just be able to move around a little bit. So I'm going to talk about the icons on the left. So this is where our program is. So anytime from a sponsor's perspective, if you're wanting to know when is your session, you can come in here and you'll be able to see when your session is and when is there times for the sponsor spotlight, water cooler chats. So anybody that is a terabit or gigabit sponsor, you know that you have the ability to participate in the water cooler chats. Then we go to our lounge. This is where we call our conversation places. So they can come in here and clicking on our water cooler chats, and Angela will delve into this a little bit more, our Rooftop Lounge. This is where they can come in and visit with colleagues and do some networking or just catching up with each other. Lounge discussions and water cooler chats, both of these will be done through Zoom and are on our program. Then we have our exhibition hall. This is where all of your information lies. So as a attendee, I would come in here and I would look at who are my terabit sponsors, who are the gigabit sponsors, who are the megabit sponsors. And depending on the information that you filled in your, put in your sponsor booth form is information that you will see in your form. So I'm just going to go into one. So once you click on one of the terabit, you'll notice that the first thing you do is you have your logo. And if you are having trouble with uploading your logo, please let me know and I'll do that for you. Then this is what is new. We have a picture of who the representative is going to be. So when people come into Kumospace, they're going to recognize who that fellow is and know that that is the person that is the person representing Rally. Now, I know Andrew, and he doesn't look quite like that. So he's probably in his booth, he probably will have that little icon. But we are encouraging all of our attendees to come in with their real name and their real face so that there is a connection right away. So it is through here that the people can click on here and get an opportunity to look at their Kumospace. They click in, they enter their email address, and they move in. I'm not going to go there. I want to get rid of that. Sorry. I want to go back. So this is where the Kumospace is held, and Angela will talk about that in a few minutes. So this is how the information that you entered in your form would be displayed. So of course, as a Terabit sponsor, you're able to host a session, and that is all about you and your products coming up. And then if you have any videos or anything that you want to add, all of that information is in here. So further to that, then we have a leaderboard. So in a letter that you would have received, it would have talked about your booth, it would have talked about Kumospace, and it would have talked about promo codes. Promo codes is our mining for Itcoin game. Depending on how many sponsors people have come in to and interact with a sponsor, they get X amount of points. So you would then get a point when you open up the logo on the terabit area or gigabit area. And then if you went into the Kumospace where you actually would interact with someone, you would get additional points. You would get 10 points. So this is a way for us to try and steer our attendees to the sponsors as much as possible. Then once you have given them the promo code that you had received, they'll come in here and they'll enter that promo code accordingly. And then in notices, this probably won't apply to you so much, but as the conference goes along for the next 3 days, if there's anything that needs attention or that we feel is important that the attendees know something that's going on, like meet us at such and such a room for prizes at 3:30, we'd put that up in the notices. The other thing I want to direct your attention to is up in the far right, there is a menu. And so here is where they're able to look at program at a glance, our conversation places that we were just at, the exhibitor hall, a draft conference program, an FAQ. The needing help is they click on that, they would contact either myself or Doug Dietz, the executive director. Then we have tours that are available to our attendees as well as yourselves if you are doing some presenting. And so you please feel free to come in here, click on this, and it's videos that we have created, actually not we, Janet and her group, to help you with any questions you might have as being a presenter. And that's pretty much it. It's a very easy way to go through and find where do I want to go to a session? Do I want to go and see a sponsor? The user, it's a very easy platform thanks to Rally that we're currently using. So I showed you that we have the terabit, the gigabit, and the megabit. So again, if I'm just going to go into the gigabit sponsors, the same thing is here where you would click on a logo, and opening it up, you would be able to find all the information they had in their form. So unless there's any questions, I think I can pass that on over to you.
We do have a question in the chat, and Angela's just answered it, but it's asking about how you click into a session. So I don't know if you have a chance to just.
Oh, sure, absolutely. So let's go into our conference schedule. And we'll go into here. And once we go into the keynote, we can click on there. The room, there should be a.
It's just not there yet, Linda.
Okay.
But it would appear right underneath the name.
That's right.
Right
so
underneath
there will be
the bonfire. So they're just not populated quite yet, but that's where they would be, right on the sessions.
Okay, so
okay, perfect. So they go directly to this page, they click on it, and that link, these links will be dropped in here to take them to wherever they're.
Yes.
Cool.
Exactly. Now, the other thing I want to just point out as well is I'm just going to go back to Rally, is if you'll notice, there is a session information. So this is on the program for Rally. And if I click on here, so it gives a quick little thing as to what to expect, what the time is. And if you click on view details, it'll take you into the Zoom room that presentation or that session will be held. Okay.
Any other questions?
Great.
Well, thank you so much.
I just only have
watching it.
Oh,
I just only have one question. So I've been on a few, and I'm new to this event, and I've been on the Miss Ontario and other events as well in digital platforms, and they are recommending how to drive attention to your booth. So we usually have that kind of little chat when we're just telling customers why to come and what to do, and like private chat with the customers, so we can invite them over. And we also used to promote some cards like $15 Starbucks cards and stuff like that. Is this possible in this platform?
Yes, it is. Actually, how we are driving our attendees to your booth is for them to get a promo code. Now, we are suggesting that you make it worth your while that they come in and ask or interact. And this is where you'll find it very interesting when Angela has an opportunity to talk, that we recommend that you either put it in some documentation that you have, hide it under a tree in the Kumospace, or another idea is in your form, in your booth, say, ask us about such and such, and receive your promo code. So another way of getting them to initiate some conversations. So, and you can change that question on a daily basis. So, one day you might want to have everybody talk about what's new in Google. And the next day you might want to say, okay, what's new in Google, I don't know, give me a suggestion.
Some Amazon or something else.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Any other technologies. Okay. So that we only can advertise in our booth. We cannot send them like mass email, come to our booth.
Absolutely. Yes. If you are a terabit sponsor.
No, we are gigabit.
Okay. As a gigabit sponsor, you don't have that flexibility, I believe, Doug. Is that correct? Or Todd and Alex, if you can correct me?
There is provision for them, for each vendor to give us an email that they would like to send out to sponsors in advance. And so if you send that to Alex or Todd, they will get it out to all of the registrants, an invitation to come to the booth if you're giving away something or have some other enticement. Put it in your message, and that will be sent out to all of the registrants. I'm not sure what the timeline is on that. Todd or Alex, could you clarify the timeline for that?
You're on mute, Alex.
100% sure right now.
If I could make a suggestion, if that if you're interested in submitting that letter, if
Mm-hmm.
you could have it to us by December 6th. No, well,
It needs
No,
to be
I'm gonna
before
give
the
it to you in the
6th.
next couple of days, if that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we need to have it this week yet, Linda.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
can give it to
advising
you
by
in a few
Friday.
days
Yeah.
before. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Tim. And was one question. And the second question, we have as a gigabit, we have a 20 minutes presentation included in the package, correct? So I'd like to understand how to schedule the time for this presentation and what is it and how it's going to be a process.
So I'll hand that over to Janet or Angela. They look after the program.
Mm-hmm.
So, both the gigabits and terabits, I believe, have the water cooler session, which is the 20-minute session, which is a Zoom session,
Mm-hmm.
which is we just have it sort of rotating 20 minutes through the conference itself. And so we are in the middle of scheduling those into the program right now. So if you have a particular topic, please send it to me. So I'm janet.bell@atle.ca, or to Angela or to Linda or all three of us. And we can make sure that we can get the title in there and a little bit of a description too. What's helpful for us, I think the most important thing that we're kind of harassing people to give us these days is to make sure that we have all the email addresses of all the presenters, because that's how we get your Zoom links to you. So that's an essential piece of that.
And how many people can do that presentation? Like how many people can be in a Zoom at the same time?
It's really up to you, but it's only 20 minutes. So
yeah, okay.
Like if you wanted to
Understood.
have 2 or 3, that's fine. As many as you like.
So
Okay.
Janet, just on that note, you will send out, ATLE will send out the Zoom links for the 45-minute sessions as well, and with the key for that person to be host?
Yes, exactly. We have a master speaker spreadsheet, which has all of that information and everything else that you've sent us in there. So it will say you are in this room at this link with the claim post key of this.
And
Perfect.
that will be informed to all the participants, right? All attendees.
And so that email goes to all of the people who are presenting, and then the attendees will see the links on that page that Linda just showed us.
On the program schedule.
On the program schedule, yeah.
Okay, excellent. And they will decide which they would like to participate. Now I understand.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so
when do
much.
those emails go out, Janet, just so we can let everybody know and they can let us know for some reason they don't get theirs?
Yes, that is a good question. I'm going to turn that over to Angela.
Over this weekend, I hope it's a
soon.
really big mail merge, and just want to run it when we have all the details filled in. So as if Janet's reached out and asked you for some presenter emails or whatever, we'll get those in, and we want to have that out for sure, like by Monday morning, so that we're at least a couple of days ahead with the links and if people have questions and such.
Yeah, I think we're really close. I know Linda and I last night did a sort of a reconciliation of the published program and what we have in our spreadsheet. So we know that's looking good. We just have a couple of, like even today, we had a couple of other things come in that we want to sort of tweak in there. And some people are still, those water cooler sessions are just coming in now as well. So yeah, the weekend easily.
Okay, and we would like to send the invite to our customers as well, like on the K-12 in Alberta, and also share it on the social media. Is there any restrictions on that? What we can say, and can we tag you guys on the LinkedIn, for example?
That's awesome. If you can tag, what are we at? Is it ATLE Alberta?
Yes,
Is
at
that
ATLE.
just
Okay.
at ATLE?
Oh, no,
Okay.
it's ATLE Alberta.
I think ATLE, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. And no restrictions for us to put our name beside the event and stuff like that.
No,
right?
that's fine. And if we see things coming out on the ATLE Alberta, we'll retweet it like ourselves as well, so we can help all spread the word together.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
There is a question in the chat that I have been smiling about, because Ben is asking, do terabit vendors sign into a Zoom backend so we can answer attendees video chat now? And I think that provides a really lovely transition over to the next section of our presentation, where Angela is going to show us how this is so much better than having a Zoom conversation.
Sounds good. Just before I jump in, Todd put a note in the chat. If you didn't see that those promo codes, the ItCoin codes, are the most valuable thing our attendees can collect by quite a bit. So it's well worth their time if they want to get into that prize pool. And we give away some pretty good cash prizes for the ItCoin prizes for the attendees. So there's some really good incentive for them to come in. We did get sponsor feedback last year. And if some of you were there, you know that what happened a lot was attendees were coming in and just asking for that code. And so we want to help you guys find some other more creative ways to make those attendees actually have to work for those codes rather than just dropping in booth by booth. So we think our Kumospace is going to help a lot with this. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and hope I've got everything good here. No. Not one.
We see the lobby.
That's okay. That's great. I'm seeing a Zoom ad. And I'm happy that you can see what I'm seeing. So I will turn my attention to that. So this is our lobby in its current state. It's going to look very different once all of your rooms have been created in here. So what I have done is created 4 sponsor templates within our Kumospace, and these can be duplicated for you guys. So we'll give you, you have some choice between these, which ones that you want to have set up as a default. You also have the ability to take complete free creative control and edit these templates if you choose. You can also choose another template that Kumospace has, or even build one from scratch yourself. So I should have edit abilities in here. I'm not signed in with the right account to create a new room. So I can't show you what those other well, maybe if so I'm just going to jump into this one. So this is sponsor template 1. I think the link to this one was sent out in the email that Linda sent to you guys yesterday or earlier this morning. So this is just the one. I can always see all of the other rooms by going back to the lobby. So again, this is where once you're set up in here, we'll actually see Power School, et cetera, showing up on these rooms. They will appear alphabetically. And this one here is our Rooftop Lounge. So this is that casual discussion space for attendees. It will always be first, and then all of the sponsor rooms will appear alphabetically behind. And then these sponsor templates will be out of the mix during the live conference also. So decide, you can, once we jump actually into Kumospace, when you have a chance to look around them, you can see which one you'd like us to set up for you initially. Within the spaces.
So X10 will be at the bottom of the list, is what you're saying.
I guess.
Or first from the back.
Maybe we have to rename our company to A10.
There you go. It doesn't let me resort. So I did. It was Rooftop Lounge, and I wanted to keep that one first. So that's why it is a Rooftop Lounge now. And I noticed right away that that's how it sorts. And we can't change that default. So when you join a room, it'll look just like this, other than you won't see this edit button unless we have given you host controls. So that's that back end access that you were asking about. So this is where we can give you a little bit of flexibility with this as well, because we can get these set up for you so that you could come in and you wouldn't even necessarily need the ability to edit. You have the interactive features by being in here, but we can work with you to set up, 1 or 2 people probably is good to be a host or a co-host and have those controls and the ability to edit. So just going to talk a little bit about some of these features that are in the room. So this is obviously a YouTube interactive. You can put a link to any YouTube video on these, and there's some control about how you set them. To see the editing version, I'm just going to click into edit mode. So I was just in attendee mode and you saw that video playing. Once I flip over into edit mode, I'm still in the room, and you have to be, and you actually have to move around to edit the room, your little avatar. And if you click, you'll accidentally move around and things too. And then all of these activities and interactives have this little settings button on them. And if I click on this, this is where I can go in and edit this YouTube URL. So I can just paste it in. I can decide if I want this to be something that loops automatically, if I want it to autoplay when people get close to it or come into the room. And then we can also decide what the audio range for the video is. So if I want it to play to the entire room or just nearby.
So Angela, help me to understand this. Every sponsor will have their own top roof.
Yes. So this is gigabit and terabit sponsors will have their own room. It could be this one or one of the other three templates that I showed in that overview. And then like they're set up a certain way, but you can change these things and edit it.
So is this considered to be a booth?
This is considered to be, this is where that live chat button will link out to.
Okay.
So what Linda showed you is actually your booth, even though this probably seems more like what a booth in a trade show would be. This is actually the live chat piece. So we've moved away from just a text-based chat or just maybe a Zoom link to this interactive space. One of the settings I'll draw, they're all, sorry?
We're talking here through chat or through video call?
It's actually a live video call. So this, I'll just show you here. This, I don't have the camera and stuff on for my little person that's in here, but let me see. I should be able to turn it on.
Well,
this is not a type. This is a face-to-face or a version of chat function.
Yes. So if I could just interject for just a sec, Angela, I just want to clarify what Azina was saying. Your sponsor representatives will be spending the time in the Kumospace because there is no way through the platform booth for them to interact face-to-face or even by text, like a live chat text. This is the only way. However, in your booth, in your form that you created, you would have your email address, your telephone, your website, so they could get a hold of you that way. But we want and encourage the sponsors and the attendees to be within the Kumospace to give it the true feeling of an exhibitor hall.
Okay. So, and our brochures and some information, where would we download that?
I'm gonna continue to show you that if you want to just hang tough for a sec.
But Angela, we need to build this out. We individually, each sponsor needs to build the space out.
Do you need to build this space? No, we're going to provide you with a pre-built one. If you want to edit it and change it, you'll have full capabilities. If you wanted to build from scratch, you could. But
I mean, all of these little touch points, are you just saying they're optional if you want to add them or not?
Yeah, absolutely. But we would take the logos that you've provided us and put some of this stuff in place for you also. So yeah, I was just going to talk about this because a default setting that I put in here, once you are a co-host of a room, you'll be able to make this change also. I set the vendor rooms by default for the sound to be for the entire room. So the way Kumospace is intended to work or can work is that the people that you're actually physically close to within this virtual space are the people that you can hear and see their video feeds, and people that are further away, you can't hear and see. So it gives you the ability to actually have small group conversations within the space also. So I set them to the entire room for starters, our trainer sessions. It's helpful when people are looking around if they can hear us everywhere. And then perhaps as a sponsor, that might be how you want to set it, especially if you're going to be a single person manning the space. If you have this set to the entire room, then you'll always have the audio interaction back and forth with everybody who is in the room as well. So that can be set to the entire room. If I change it to one of the other settings, that will show an audio circle now around my little avatar, and that shows me that the space within I can hear people. So that's the smallest circle, and then they get bigger as you change that setting. I'm just going to move this one back to entire room for now. So as I say, these are set up. I've put here, these are custom images that show what the sizes of these specific signs are. This one here is actually an interactive whiteboard. So I've got a custom image over top of one here, but without the custom image, these can be interacted with as a virtual whiteboard by the group that's in the room also. Everything that you write on there will stay live when you're in there working on it, but it disappears after. So I kind of like putting some custom images over them and using them more as a sign in this instance. Oh, I see Todd has entered my room. So there's, of course, the different editing. If you want to change up the flooring or whatever, it's just a simple click here. If you want to go ahead and customize. So we have 4 different templates. There are some subtle things you can do to make yours look a little different than others if you choose. I don't remember which one that was.
And we don't have the chat live button on our page. Are those getting dropped in at a later date?
You should have.
Hi, Todd.
Let me just go and look in your,
Thanks, Linda, for looking at that. So
Yeah.
I'll just continue.
I'll send you an
talking
email,
about-
Rachel, and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Excuse me. So there's decor and things in here. A couple of things I want to draw attention to specifically is depending if you want to manipulate the setup some yourself, and you can make audio areas. So our rooftop lounge is set up with these. I've got audio circles around each of the fire pits. So that's another option for customizing how you're going to be able to hear people within the room. So maybe if there's a couple of you that are going to be manning the room, you can use these audio circles to make a bigger space. And of course, you can also go into settings and change the whole room there also. So that's some stuff. Some of these things, these little guys, if it's got music notes on it, it makes noise. The waves are actually quite distracting. So you can build an outdoor scene, and they've got swimming pool and stuff. But like I say, some of these make noise. So it's up to you if you think that's an added bonus to the room or if it's actually creating a distraction. Some of the items in the decor as well as in activities are interactive things. So when somebody's in their room, if you have pizza out, I think I have something in this one. I'm just going to go out of edit mode for one moment and move over here. So this espresso machine is interactive. If I click on it, it shows a little cup of coffee here by my avatar. These are just decorations that are not interactive. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. If things are interactive, a little hand pops up. I can go back into my edit mode by just clicking this button here. And then that's these YouTube. There's some games and things and other distractions in here. The piano makes music, water cool gives glasses of waters, etc. And then down at the bottom here are the 2 options for those YouTube interactives. So you have to use one of these if you want to insert a YouTube video, but then it's that super easy process of just changing that link out.
Angela, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions because I'm just thinking that, we've had a chance to kind of kick the tires in Kumospace a little bit, but this is going to be brand new for a whole bunch of people. And so I was wondering if you could just kind of show them the map so they could get that big picture of things.
I was coming. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You want me to jump ahead to the...
No, you keep in your order.
I'm following through my little list here. It's coming up, you betcha. So that's the stuff, and that's probably a good segue into that. So she's referring to this overview. So this is really handy as an attendee, and also more handy if you're trying to edit the room at all, because then you can see at a glance what all you have in there. You can also click within the map to quickly move yourself to one of these spaces. So if I want to go check and see what's on this YouTube screen back here, I can do that. And then I can move my map around also. This, I used it a lot when I was building because it helps to see where you're getting things placed within the room. And if you just close it, it'll close, or you can click this on and off will open and close that also. So when it comes into actually working with the objects in the room, you can see when I hover over all of these, the little X pops up. That's what would delete something. I'm not going to delete something that's here, but I'll just go ahead and put in something new. If I find a little something on here that I want to add to the space, I can just drag it in and place it. I'm in free move right now, I think, but up here, I can also cause it to snap to a 1 pixel grid. So everything in here works right by the pixel. So if you insert an image that has pixel dimensions, that's exact size that will appear in here. So you would have noticed I put the sizes for some of that stuff on those signs to make sure that those appear properly. But if you want to just put something else somewhere, that image can be as small or large as you create it.
We have a couple of questions in the chat.
Oh, sure.
So one of them is, when do we get access to start customizing our space?
So we are setting up sessions Thursday, Friday, right? For you guys to drop in, and we'll give you that co-host. And if you have any specific questions about things at that time, we can do that with you too. And correct me, Doug and Linda, if I'm wrong on that.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
Thursday. Sorry, my
9
bad.
o'clock, 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, both mornings. Like you only have to come to one session, but there are 4 that are available, so people can kind of match their schedule. So
Right.
9 o'clock Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, or 11 o'clock Wednesday and Thursday morning. And that's Mountain Standard Time for the time slots.
Good.
And
Thank
then Alex wondering whether you can briefly show us what it looks like as an attendee. So I don't know if you've got that in your list, like probably at the end of the presentation, we could even all just slip in there and snoop
The only
about.
difference between attendee and a host is that edit button. So I can flip over to another account and show that after. It'll just take a second, but it's really very close to the same. Now I went and deleted the cat without talking about it. I'm just going to put him back, but that little X will make things go away. So the more things you get in your space, bandwidth and things like that, just keep in mind, I notice I'm on rural internet, so every once in a while I click that little X and the thing doesn't go away right away. So just keep in mind that it is like a web-based thing. So depending, if you see little things, that's what it is. It might just be taking a second for it to catch up. Same thing when you put in an image. So I'm just going to go over to this one. So these custom images need to come from a hosted place. So likely you have images on your websites that you could use the link from. That would be the easiest. If you need some help figuring out how to get images in here, or you just want to give me some and have them link in for you, I can do that too. And those are things that we can talk about in those other sessions when we get you guys into your actual spaces. So before then, tomorrow, we'd like to hear which template you'd like me to set up for you by default for us to get started with. So if you guys could maybe let Linda know that right away, Lyndon, if we could keep that in a list somewhere so that I can get those set up later today for everybody, that would be great.
Absolutely. So I'll just put my email address in here.
And I'll back out and let you guys have a bit of a look. So you can actually get into this Kumospace now with the link that Linda sent in the email to you. You won't have host abilities at this point yet, but after we're done here, or if you probably don't want to jump over when you're in a Zoom meet because you'll have some troubles because Zoom's already using your camera and mic. But if you want to have a peek around and tour those Kumo spaces after this, and then let Linda know which one you'd like us to set up for you, you can do that too. Something else you can do is check out their the Kumospace embedded templates. You would just go to regular into Kumospace and go as though you were going to set up your own space, and you could check them out that way too.
So we can set up kind of like a table where we'd like to just put our brochures and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So those are custom images, right? They show, did I have one over here? I don't even have one in. And then, oh, here's the custom images. So these are the custom image looks like this one when I link it in. And then these little guys over here are where you can put in links to like external web pages or whatever. So when I go to set one of these up, all this stuff by default has the Kumospace links in it. It always wants a proper secure address, but I can go in and set this one up.
So you could put brochures, for example, there, click on it and then download it, that type of idea.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that with my noisy keyboard.
So you could put brochures on a table, people click on it and they download the brochure type of thing, or
yeah, it would like, so it'll open up, like, so if you'll just have a look at this one again, I just used our website link, and that there's a spot to put text in. I'm just going to cancel. So that's what that looks like. Try not to. And it just shows that little learn more about ATLE. But these images could also be linked out. So you could have like the cover page of your brochure there, and then have that link out to an external web page or whatever. And then I had issues when I didn't turn on open in a new tab. It really struggled to load the web page within. So if you don't tell it to open in a new tab, it pops up a window within the Kumospace. And I saw a lot of errors with that. So I think I would lean towards having those links open in a new tab, but any image can be linked to something external too. So
it's all going to be through the external web pages, not downloaded at the platform, right?
It'll be in both.
It will, yeah.
You can have your brochures in the platform in your exhibition booth space, and you can have them here as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, excellent.
So there was on that booth that Linda showed you earlier, there was, I think it was quite toward the bottom was the files part, but those could be linked in both places. That's right.
Okay. Angela, they wanted to know what it would look like from an attendee's point of view. Do you want me to share my screen so they can see that again? Sure. I maybe went too fast. Only if you are finished. I'll do that at the end.
I think I feel like I was I'm just going to open this up again and see if there's anything in here that's really important I missed. I don't think so. I didn't set up any of the Giphy searches myself. The GIFs that I used were ones that I just hosted in LinkedIn, so that works also. This pulls up a search. Really, for you guys, I think as long as you realize that these little buttons are where we can go in and put links. If you let us, or if we have your logos and things, we can work, like I say, at setting some of this signage up. And if you need some extra help with, specifically images and things, we can work on that stuff too. Does anybody have any other questions about editing specifically? Oh, I missed one important one. The link to the space is here in the share button. So this is we're kumospace.com/flamingo with the I is actually a 1 and it's a 0 instead of an O at the end. So that's going to get you into the lobby. In the lobby here, like I say, you'll see your space, and then you'll be able to click into it and go into it.
Angela, could we also back out and come in from a booth so that, because there was a question in the chat back a ways about how do sponsors get in. One way is that direct link, but the other way is to go in through their booth and go that way. Can we just show that so that they know how they actually can move from the booth and create their persona in Kumospace?
Yeah, that's going to take me a second because I'll
So
have to.
actually, I can do that, Doug. I'll share my
Oh,
screen.
perfect. Let's do that because I've
Yeah.
not signed into the right
Yeah,
account for
that's
that
fine.
there.
So
I'll stop sharing so you have control.
Okay. Okay, so I hope everyone can see my screen. So as an attendee, I'm just going to go back out. All right, so as an attendee, they will have the link that they can click on that's going to say Convergence Conference. They'll click on that, or they will come in through via a link. And here is the landing page that they will see. Again, if they are looking at the exhibitor hall, there's two ways to get there, either by the left-hand side or by viewing all exhibitors. It goes to exactly the same page. So when we go into these little icons and the logos, as soon as I click on that, and this can be either a sponsor or an attendee, it gives me a quick little look at what I can expect if I go into their booth. Once I'm in their booth, I then can scroll down, and so long as you have a representative's name and a picture would be great. If not, at least the representative's name who's going to be responsible, the sales rep name, who's going to be responsible to answer the questions. If you put that name in your form, then the name will show up. It's here that either the sponsor or the attendee will click on. They will then enter their email, and once they've entered it, it stays there. I'm going to join. And now you can see this is exactly what Angela was showing earlier, where you have all the different templates. So each template would have either Candle Point or Google or Rally. Your name will be on your booth when the attendees come in. So if I'm in a Rally booth, I'm going to search here in the lobby and find the Rally Kumospace, and then I will just go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and do this right now. I'll click on it, and here I am. It's that easy to come into Angela's space. Using the map on the far right, I can see the whole room, and I can pick and choose where do I want to be. And as Angela was saying, it's very easy to move within the booth.
And they will see us in the booth if they would like to talk. We will see them when they enter the booth.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And actually, what's going to happen when they enter the booth, you will get a doorbell ring on your computer indicating there's somebody there. So you don't have to be looking at a blank screen all day long. But if you have your computer on and you have Kumospace open, you will be notified when somebody comes into your booth. And this is where you say, good morning, my name is so-and-so and glad you're here. What can I help you with today? And if they say, okay, I want a promo code, you say, well, okay, prior to that, I'd like to show you something, whatever that might be.
Excellent. The only thing I didn't understand, so when they click that video chat in our booth, it's opening up the space.
That Kumospace, that's correct.
And there will be only our chosen Kumospace, right? Or it's going to be everybody's?
It will be your chosen space.
No, not Linda, that's not quite right. When they first click on it, they go into the space that has all of the rooms. So
yes.
But
they
will see so they enter in the whole pool of the rooms, and then
And
It
then,
doesn't matter through which booth they will enter. They will enter the whole, all rooms.
Yeah.
Okay, I got
We
it.
call it
Oh, so we enter the meeting hall?
We call it a lobby. So when I
Right.
click on that video chat,
go
I
back to the lobby, Linda.
pardon me?
Go back to the lobby,
Mhm.
just down at the bottom where you're at in Kumospace. Yeah.
So
Right.
This is where they will go.
Okay.
And,
So then
and
they need to search over here by for our name, and
Yes.
that's gonna go alphabetically.
yes, that's correct.
Okay. Gotcha. And that would be explained to the dentist as well, right?
yes,
Actually, like, so there's the little video that keeps firing up with Linda and I presenting. There's a YouTube video already on our channel for attendees that goes
would be-
over
Is it
all the
possible to
interactions.
send us, is possible to send us link to that? Because if we're gonna
Yep.
invite our customers, we would like them to watch that video
sure.
as well.
Yeah,
Awesome, thank you
we can
so
just
much.
put that right in the chat, and then when you get the chat transcript, you'll have it in there too.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. I actually did think of a couple of things I forgot to show you guys. So
Okay,
gonna
I'm
just-
stopped sharing.
Perfect. I'm gonna go jump in because we talked about editing, but just in terms of hosting and interacting with your attendees. And this stuff is in that video that I referred to that's specifically for attendees also. So down at the bottom, you have the broadcast and present functions. So just like within the Zoom meeting, how we are presenting within here, you can present also. And it gives you the ability to share your screen. So if you have another tab with something on it that you want to share, or a video that you want to play that you don't want to embed in the YouTube interactive, you can do that this way. You could also even share a secondary camera if you had one that was on something else. There is the ability, I'm going to draw your attention to this because when we give you host controls, you would have the ability to go to all rooms, but we would of course request that you keep your presentations and broadcasts to your own room. So that's the default when you come in here. And like I say, this would allow me to present in. And if I do a screen, I just should get another tab open to share first. Oh no, I'm just going to share this one. So I'm just going to share back this meet that we're having. So that's what that pops up like. So that shows up for the person who's presenting, and then also everybody who is in this Kumospace. This can be moved around, and then it can also be made bigger. Now, when I make this bigger, I'm not doing that for my attendees. I'm only doing that for myself. So they would all have that individual control also. That presents that in. And then something else you can do. So just to stop presenting, I'll just click again. And then another thing is to run a broadcast. So same thing, we may use the all rooms function from the ATLE crew and the planning committee, but otherwise nobody should be using broadcast into all rooms. But if you want to grab the attention of everyone in your room, you can just start that up. I'm blocking the camera out here, so this is just pulling in a secondary camera, but that should actually be the video feed showing up there. So that's a way to make yourself pop up bigger and your video feed kind of get in everyone's faces so you can catch people's attention. And then as a user, this again can be moved around or made big, etc. So you might want to pop up and say, hey, everybody, join me at the YouTube screen in the back of the room. I want to walk you through a presentation. Or, hey, everybody, have you found the Itcoin code yet? It's hidden somewhere in this room. So we talked about that a little bit earlier on, and that's like some of our tips is make them ask you about a specific product or service before they either get that code from you verbally. You could embed it, put it at the end of a YouTube video that they need to watch the whole thing. Those external links that we were showing that go out somewhere, perhaps the code's even hidden on your website somewhere within a flyer or a brochure. If you want to get really crafty and put it in a custom image, and like Linda said, hide it somewhere within the room. It has to be visible. Your attendees won't be able to move things around to look for it, but whatever you can do to try and make them have to spend some time in the room and interact with the content and the things that you have to share there to get that code would be a really good idea.
So Angela, before you go, the important thing is we should probably show them how they can exit the room.
Back to the lobby. So that's back to the lobby will always take us out to where all of your rooms are. That attendee video that we created is encouraging people to go visit all the rooms and make sure they find all those codes that are out there. And then we've even got in that space, I'll just jump in there for a second. When people come to just hang out in our rooftop lounge, they will see this sign here right away saying, go back to the lobby and check out our sponsors. One last little feature that I missed, because it's the most basic video meet feature, but with all the other things going on there, it always slips my mind that this does have text-based chat also. So over in the lower left by the people button, now this is where I can make people hosts. I could also remove people from the space if needed or mute someone if I needed. Up top, I actually have the ability to mute everyone in the room also. It says you can move guests to seats. I've never actually seen that work. It just tells me it's moved people and I don't see that they have moved, but being able to mute people might be a good thing if you're getting some feedback and echo. Then also down here, beside that is where that text-based chat is. Now this one defaults to all rooms, so extra caution if you're going to use it to make sure that you're going into either just your current room or nearby. That would use that audio circle based on the room settings for me. And then you can actually private message people who are within the room also. So I'm going to go current room and I can type my little message. And then everybody will get a sound notification and a little notification on here that there's a message. So just like Zoom chat or Google Meet chat, that is there as well. I think I've remembered all the things I forgot. Does anybody have any more questions?
I'm just looking in the chat, and what I think is that people are curious. Yeah.
Lounge. The Rooftop Lounge, is that anything to do with Mr. Kenny? Sorry, bad joke. Put a smile on people's faces.
I actually was sharing with someone yesterday that we should call it the Flamingo Club.
The Flamingo Club, yeah. That was one of me and my son helped with the one video, and that was one of my things about it was there was sure a lot of booze and we'd like to see some more other things, but definitely the Rooftop Lounge, it fits.
Well, thank you everybody for your time. I know we have a lot of busy people in the room, and to have an hour is a generous of you as well. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll get that video out to you as soon as as it arrives, along with the chat with those links.
And then if you're interested in getting co-host ability, then if you could send your name and email address to either myself, Janet, or Angela, we will make sure your room is available, and then we can meet with you on the 1st or on the 2nd, whatever time best suits you.
Thank you, Linda.
Should the three of us put our email addresses in the chat again, just so that we know that everybody has
maybe a good idea.
Well, have a good afternoon, everybody. You can hang on for another minute or so if anybody wants to stay and chat.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all the information. It's great.
It's a big yet another experiment, right? Building the bridge as we walk on it. But that's the fun.
It's a fun bridge
Fun
to
of
build.
convergence.
Exactly. It's like doing a live demo of software. Something always breaks.
Always.
Thanks, everyone. I have to go eat before my next meeting.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Sounds
Thanks for
good.
coming.
Bye-bye.